Oh, that's a bit shaky. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from Across the Chuck, and it's sharpening morning this morning, and this is the second part. But I've made this a bit hard for myself, which is what life normally is anyway. I decided I was going to do this wee knife up the other day, and I hope you watched the video and you've seen it was that's bogging here, but this blade was deeply scratched, and I took it off one of the labourers down the caravan park who had beaten it to death for about 10 years. There was no edge on it whatsoever, none. It's completely blunt. So I took this off him and I gave him my D2 version because I couldn't let him walk about with the knife the way it was. So um, okay, you can just see by the pocket clip the sort of wear it had. So I'm not going to do any hand sanding of the blade, but I just wanted to take away a lot of the deep scratches that have been there for years. So I literally got my little Dremel out with a little stone and I just run it across it. It doesn't look pretty. It just doesn't look pretty, but it's better looking than it did. It just looks better. I also started, I'm going to show you what I was doing. It was completely rounded off at the top. So I don't know whether you can see, yeah, I think you can see that. What I done was I took this down. You can sort of see by the end of it where I've taken it right down from here. I dropped this down and then I put what Spyderco puts on, you know, that little bit at the end that sort of drops down sharply just to give the blade strength, because this is going to be my beater, but at least it's going to be sharp. It's not going to look as scratched. Maybe somewhere down the line I might do some hand sand, but I really don't think I will do. This is literally just a beater. The one thing about this knife is it's rock solid, and it's a backlock. It is completely solid, and most, well, all the ones I've had have been solid. This is just an Aus8. So, but if you look down, it's got a little bit thicker up there. So what I was doing just before you came, I just wanted to get a bit of a head start. So I've done that on the blade. And I'm just going down and trying to thin out at the top here. You know, I normally have the shakiest hands that everybody always comments on. And I agree with you, I normally have. But with this little Dremel in my hand, I feel really confident. I don't know why, but I feel really confident. So I've thinned it down as much as I can so that I can maybe start to get an edge on it. Again, this is, I'm not going for a hair splitting edge. I'm just going for a, you know, a 600 grit edge. That's all I want on it. An edge is going to bite and do a bit of cutting and is easily sharpened. So I'm going to start. I've got the 400 one out here. And like also, I'm going to do this a bit slower because for those here maybe just learning, I hope you're going to learn a little bit by going a little bit slower, because this is the way you should start doing it. So this is literally, look at the thinness of that. This is a little cheap 400 grit stone. I have 1,001 underneath it, but I don't need that today. I just need the 400. And then I'm going to go on to our 1,000 grit ceramic, which I'm using for all the knives that are under S30V. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to start to sharpen. There's no edge on it at the minute because I've, you know, with this here, I've scratched up the side, everything. So I'm just going to go really slowly. But what I want to see is where the edge and where the thick bit of the edge is. So I just lay it down and I've picked my angle that I wanted to go on, which is sort of what the factory edge was. No idea what it is, but I'm going to start here. You just gradually, so as you feel as if you're cutting the top off it. Yeah, that's what you want to feel, as if you're slicing the top layer off it, and you don't push any further than that. You just have it sitting there, and then you just slide the blade down. Don't take it off the end of the stone, and just slide it down. And you're keeping that same angle. Don't bend your wrist. Well, I bend my forward. I'm terrible for telling you. That's the way it should be, but I just make sure that you keep it just down on the stone. And I'll do about 4 or 5 of them, and then I can check out to see what I've got in hand. That's okay. There's still, you'll probably not see this, I don't have a good enough camera to get it, but along the top here it is a bit chunky because I actually put this right along the top and took it down, you know, done it right along, flattened it, because there was big chunks out of it. Maybe you can see there's still some wee bits of them left, but the sharpening shall bring that out. So that looks okay. So I'll just keep doing that. And what I'm going to try and do is get that burr Do you remember what the burr was? If you're into the sharpening videos that I've been doing, the burr is the most important thing. And it's where I'm shaving on this side of the blade. So this top end, the burr is when I bring the metal, once I'm doing my sharpening, I'm bringing the metal over the top of it. And the feel for that, you just put your hand, or I use my fingernail, and just go down the blade and make sure you've got that rough edge coming from the front over to the back. So it's not quite there yet, but this is Aus8. This shouldn't take too long, so don't worry. And you just literally, I keep my angle, just remembering that when you've got a curve, you just follow the curve around. That's all. I don't lift it up as such. I just follow the curve around, because you want your blade to be all one. Now, I'm not pushing. These are 400 grit stones. That's all you're hearing. It's just the weight of my hand sitting on top there. And then I'll check to see, because I really need to see a nice smooth edge where this come across. The other nice thing about doing that is letting me see a nice smooth edge. Now, they're strange. Look at the top. Can you see how shiny right up towards the edge now? And then it disappears down here. So I need to get down here a bit more. So the way I do it is I set my thumb down here, just on top of the blade, same angle again, and then I just up and down. And what I'm trying to do is just get that last little bit directly down onto the stone. And there you go, a couple of grinds, and you're starting to see it's still a bit of a wavy edge. I don't know where you can see this now. Along the top here, it's a bit wavy, but that's where I just done it with this as rough as I could. So I'm literally just gonna this is where you want to pay a bit of attention to where you're going. Oh, that's raised the burr. Now, the top needs a bit more work to it. So I'm just going to do this top bit a bit faster, because I need to bring it down just to the other. So I just keep the blade on the deck and go back and forward. You know, hold that same angle. Just, you know, you don't want a wiggly wrist, a limp wrist. You just want to be nice and easy on the stone. So, still not there, but that's, I expected that because I told you I'd flattened that off. So, and you can see the blade's just standing still. I'm not having to do anything. I've just picked an edge, and that's the edge I'm going to keep. So you can really see the shine coming at the top there, where it's so much thicker, and the blade stock is thicker up here, where I had to obviously grind away. So I'll just check if I'm getting anything up here now. It's moving up a little bit here. It needs, this top bit needs more. So let's just get the top bit. And so all I'm doing is that top bit. I'm just keeping my hand still and just taking it. There's a bit of a curve, so I want to follow it. But I want the top part of that to get that bit of shine on it. It's so much easier. So I mean, I'm doing this freehand. Normally I'll have my hand up here. So I get the nice flat belly, the nice flat part of the blade. I'll start it there, and then I'm literally just going up and down, and that's taken away. I'm putting all the cutting towards that top edge of the knife, and then to finish with, I'll do the full lot, so that joins it up. And again, normally I'll just have my hand at the top on here just to hold it still. Well, it's not really, it's literally just to keep it to the surface so that I know I'm touching the surface. So this is important. So there's still that little bit at the top there that hasn't, and there's no point in me starting on the other side, because then I'll make the blade you know, the thickness of blade uneven, and that's the last thing we'll want. So I need to do more of this up here. So I'm going to put my finger on it again, and I'm not pushing, I'm just sort of holding it in position. I'm just going up and down more on the front part, and then I'll drop it all down and do it the whole way, just to keep that bevel going to be hopefully the same all the way down. And you can see now where I'm getting down. Aus8's quite a soft steel. You know, it's not going to have that edge retention, that long edge retention, but it's so easily sharpened. I just have to get this first part right so that it, where am I? So that, you know, I've got a good start to getting it sharp. So yeah, I take my hand away. That hand's doing nothing really. It's just that I put it there just for safety. You just don't move the blade, you just keep the angle. And you don't want to be doing things like this. Just keep it nice and slow. Keep it controlled where you're in charge of the blade. So, and again, that's just taking it nice and easy. And that's, I'm just, if you look at the angle doesn't change. I'm just changing this where I bring the tip down onto the blade, but you can see it definitely. It's getting close to it now. It really is getting close. So I'll get right up this tip here. Yes, love? All right, excuse me, I'll just pause you.